Welcome to the podcast, Living by Oak Values. My name is Robert, and I host this podcast with my friend Gary. Join us today as we dive deep and share meaningful stories and discuss the values that help shape our lives. We will explore how we use these values to guide us through our life, influencing our decisions, relationships, and raising our kids. We are embracing a journey of personal growth and navigating our own paths. We are devoted to living by these values and passing them on to our children. We are thrilled to have you here today and can't wait to share our latest episodes. Whether you're a longtime listener or just now discovering us, welcome. Join our Facebook community, Northman Legacy Crew. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the comments and let us know what topics you're most interested in hearing about. Sign up with your emails for behind-the-scenes sneak peeks and exciting updates. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and happy listening. Well, we have a special program for you today. We have Jenn Boone and Lilly San Jose joining us, and we will be talking about empathy. And on the back of the card, empathy is the feeling that you understand and share another person's experience and emotion.
Empathy is an important value for several compelling reasons. Empathy is a complex trait that is not limited to one gender, and there is no scientific consensus to support the claim that women are more empathetic than men. But according to a study published by the Scandinavian Journal of Psychology, women's brains are more likely than men to exhibit signs of empathy.
Hey, brother, push your microphone away just a little bit. It's a little too close.
All right.
All right.
Better?
A little bit better. You're yelling into the microphone, and the last time I had to turn it down.
This episode is brought to you by Northman Coaching and their Oak Value cards. Are you looking for a little boost in motivation and self-improvement? If so, then check out our Oak Value cards and empower yourself with our motivational and insightful core value cards. Enter promo code EMPATHY for 10% off of your next order.
Is empathy a gift? While some people are naturally empathetic, AI stated that empathy is a set of skills that are learned and developed over time. If we describe empathy as a gift, it can have negative consequences, such as discounting the work that people have done to build it or reinforce it.
So today we have two females with us to discuss the differences between the feminine and masculine. Help us compare and contrast the versions of empathy. We have a returning guest, Lilly San Jose, all the way from Taiwan, and a new guest, Miss Jenn Boone from Massachusetts. So feel free to say hi, ladies.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here again.
It's nice to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you for having me as well.
Yes.
Nice to have you too.
Thank you. The first question we came up with, and we would like to discuss, is how would you recognize when somebody around you is being empathetic towards you?
So I think to me, when I start listening and paying attention to everything you said, and I'll be kind and careful about how I'm gonna respond. Normally, empathic person, so they needed someone that is actively listening to them. And I even cry because I feel how they feel, and I truly feel the depths of their sorrow and sadness.
So I definitely agree with things that she said as well. Kind of made a list of things. So I think that they truly listen. They sense your emotions. You can tell that they actually are feeling the way that you're feeling. They can show genuine concern. Just for sympathy is when you feel bad for them or say, I'm sorry for your loss, but when you're genuinely concerned about what's going on. They validate your feelings. They share in your joy, your sorrow. So it could go either way. You could be super happy and someone else becomes super happy, or the sadness, of course. And remaining non-judgmental, so basically being very even keel and not trying to sway you in one way or the other to let you know you shouldn't feel that way or things like that. Just to really show compassion through words and actions. And touch is a big one. Touch on the shoulder, a hug, touch on the leg if you're sitting next to somebody, depending who the person is.
Thank you, Jenn. You said they sense your feelings, and I've heard Lilly say this as well. Is that some kind of like Jedi mind trick? How do you sense somebody's feelings?
This is where the feminine comes in. I think our intuition is what helps us to feel that. I certainly would never want to try to read someone's mind or think what they're thinking or put any of that kind of judgment on them. Being next to someone who is feeling a certain way, there's a vibe to it. There's a aura, if you will, around the person to be able to know how they're feeling. Facial expressions, body language, words.
So if you're happy, they can sense happiness. And I've never actually put empathy with a positive feeling. I've always thought that it was something that somebody was sad or upset over something and you would understand or be empathetic with them. But I guess it could be happy too. So if you're overjoyed over something, I could be empathetic and be overjoyed with you and in turn spread that. And I never even thought about spreading anything with empathy. So I like what you said and it's interesting.
Thank you.
So Rob, how do you sense when someone's being empathetic to you?
It's a lot harder. I don't have the Jedi mind sensing thing. I guess it's more I listen to what words they use. And especially if they can relate to similar experiences that I had, it's kind of like what words they don't use. Like bless your heart. If they use that, then they don't really understand what I've been going through. So
Is that like a blanket statement, bless your heart? That's nothing personal, nothing valued.
No value, no I understand. Take your time.
Bless your heart.
Bless
Go
your
love
heart.
yourself.
Yeah, pretty much go love yourself. It's just like.
So for me, when someone's being empathetic to me, I pretty much just use their body language. I can't sense their feelings, but if they relate to what's going on in my world and I can see it in their body language, eye contact, that helps me become aware of their empathy.
But what body language is?
Like they're looking at you, they're making eye contact, their hands are not in their pockets, they're not watching the baseball game, that's it. So body language.
So now that you know empathetic can be happy, body language changes when somebody's happy versus somebody's empathetically sad for you.
Body language is still body language. I mean, if they're happy, they'll come running over to hug me. If something really awesome happened and they're like, congratulations.
Tone and manner of their voice. If they're like, congratulations. But then that's more than just body language.
Okay, fair enough. Tone and manner, I'm writing that down. All right, on to the next bullet point or next question. How could someone respond to another with compassion and kindness?
They could respond with a greater courage and respect for the fact that person has entrusted you with a very deep part of themselves.
What do you mean by deep?
It's a deep part of yourself. For example, I was empathic person. I was talking to you, right? I trust you that time when I became vulnerable at that time. Everything I said is real. It's a part of being who I was as a person, like a genuine person. Because there are some people that they are so afraid to tell everything how they feel because they are fear of being judged by the person you're talking with. So
that's a good answer. I like that one.
I believe it would be the same as what Lily's saying, really speaking from your soul, like really talking about things that you connect with that lets them know that you're feeling what they're trying to convey to you. Also, sincere, unconditional effort to listen to them and then respond to exactly what they're saying.
Okay. How about you, Rob?
I read a book recently and it talked about how to make somebody feel like they're important. And it was like, look them in the eye and actively listen. But part of that actively listening is also ask them questions on the last three things they talked about. Don't necessarily do you have to listen to everything they said, but the last few words they said. It gives the impression that you're empathetic to that person.
Hold up. So are you trying to say that you're not really empathetic?
Not that empathetic. No, because I don't sense it. I don't feel empathetic sometimes.
Really? Like you can't. So I can feel it when someone's upset. I mean, they have to kind of tell me. I have a feeling, but I don't always trust that feeling. It's like when you see someone with a belly bump and you're like, are they pregnant or do they have too many beers last night? I don't want to say nothing.
Not that I'm not empathetic, but it's how to treat somebody empathetic. So I had to learn how to treat somebody empathetic.
Okay.
And that's mainly paying attention to the last sentence they said.
What book is that? Split the Difference?
I don't remember, actually.
I've read the same book.
Then you would know the name of the book.
Can't think of it.
I
it's
think
Split the
that
Difference.
whole thing is about also when you really don't have an answer, you listen to the last thing they say and kind of bring it back to them, and then they just keep talking. So you don't have to actually retain it. And maybe the effort that you're not expecting anything in return, you're just going off of what they said and putting it back out there could still be empathetic.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just trying. It's hard to retrain my brain to say, "Oh, I'm sorry you're crying."
How about a reason to be happy?
You think of it this way, like, you know how laughter is contagious? So if you are sitting in a room and there's people laughing, do you get like that bubbly feeling inside? Like, even though you may not think what's they're thinking is funny, you hear everybody laughing and it's like that contagious laughter. That can be empathy too.
Gotcha.
Where are we at next?
It was mostly to create like where the person felt understood. They felt like somebody is being compassionate, because that's what we're talking about. How do you make somebody feel that you're empathetic?
See, but what you had just said before, Rob, about repeating the last three things they said,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that makes me feel heard. It doesn't say that you feel what I feel. It just says that you heard the words coming out of my mouth.
So do you not want me to hear the words coming out of your mouth?
Depends on what the words are.
So if I was to go, hey, well, I hear the words that are coming out of your mouth and I agree with you, does that not make you...
I don't know. I honestly, now I'm questioning everything. I don't know. Because I think being heard and having empathy are definitely two different things.
Is it two different things? Is being heard versus being empathetic two different things?
No. Heard is being part of empathic person. Sure, they have active listening, but if you're going to ask individual, they have a different meaning, because you can just hurt as a person, but you don't really care. But if you are empathic, then you care, because most empathic person, they truly care about you. Sometimes they even don't care about themselves because they really care about that person.
How would you suggest to our listeners how to be more empathetic, not just active listening?
It's hard because human are different, right? I can feel anything. I can be happy, any emotion. If I was really happy, you can see it. If I'm sad, you can see it. It's so obvious. But telling to other people to how to be empathic, I think there are ways to learn it, because I've been searching about is the person achieve the empathy. And they said there's so many ways to practice it, but I don't know if this is easy for other people, or because to me, I feel like it's natural. It's come naturally to me. Like when I was born, I used to feel other people, like, and then I really care, even though you're a stranger, and then you start talking about me, you share about your story. Of course, I'm listening to you. And then even when I was watching movies about, like, it's a drama movies, I cry about it because I was like listening to it, like attention to it. So I'm seeing myself on that situation. Like it's like I'm putting myself on the other people's shoes to stop me from judging how they feel. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It's interesting.
It does. I agree completely with what you're saying. It's very much like you. I am born with it. It's something that I have. To try to understand how to have someone become that way or practice it, that would be a tough question to answer.
Yeah, because after Robert sent me these questions, I do my own research, right? There are some people that they claim that they are empathic, but sometimes they just say it, but it's not. So that's why I don't really tell anyone that I am empathic person. I don't know about it when I was like little, but I used to feel that until came that I was being so curious about it. You call it empathic. So empathy. I don't know that before, but now I understood.
I don't really think empathy is something that you would go around saying, this is what I have. It's just something that you do have. And when the time comes to show it, it helps you connect with people and build a circle of, I guess, if you will.
And I feel like this is something that you shouldn't tell people, oh, I have empathy. It's just let people see it, because they will know, they will sense it.
The person that has empathy, that says they have, the person says they have empathy, does not. Just like the person says, I'll never lie to you, they will probably lie to you.
Hey, brother. Push
Yes.
that microphone away a little bit more. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since you're both empathetic, sensing Jedi mind trick, feeling people, do you hang around happy people to make yourself feel happy?
I don't think you can. That's a good question, though. But I don't.
Well, I like happy people, actually. Because I feel like, it's, I think, that's an interesting question. So hold on.
What would that be called? Using it to your benefit.
But it really should be to get nothing in return. So,
Well,
you-
why would you not get anything in return? You're going around hanging around happy people to make yourself feel happy.
but I don't think you ever would. Like, I don't think I'd ever wake up and be grumpy and be like, I need to find some happy people so I feel better today. But that is a good idea.
Try it. I'm going to try it. They're not in the post office, all right? Just letting you know. Don't come looking there.
Like myself, like I don't have a lot of friends, right? But whenever I hang out with my few friends, when I see them happy, I can see myself them happy too. I'm enjoying together. I mean, I can be happy by myself doing things like, could be anything, writing, reading, listening, watching, anything. But yeah, there's a different happiness, I guess. It's more happy when you are around, especially if it's a positive people around you.
So, Rob,
I
are
mean-
you happy when you're around happy people? So if you walk into a room and everybody's happy, because that would be you feeling empathy.
Not necessarily. When I'm in a room of happy people, it doesn't necessarily just make me happy. That doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
No.
So when and how do you feel like extremely happy when it happens by yourself or with around people or
When I accomplish something, like getting the lights working on the truck.
So it doesn't necessarily with people.
Mm-mm. It has nothing to do with people.
If I walk in a room full of happy people, I'm going to start yelling at them
Yelling at them? Why?
to stop being happy. No, I don't know. I don't think I can walk into a room and like suck in the happiness.
Do you mean you can share
Like
it
if
to
they're all
others?
happy, like I don't know if I would walk in and suddenly just be happy.
So when where the happiness came from? Just like Robert says, he said when he accomplished something. And what about you?
Same here. That is what happiness is. When you accomplish something or get to a point that you've been trying to get to. The feeling of happiness it's just a moment and it's gone. And then you're content.
Maybe that's the masculine versus the feminine right there. Because when I hear that, I'm like, how can that be? How can it be just boom? And why are you not getting it from others? But then that's exactly what we're trying to figure out, I guess.
Yeah.
I do have a question, and I'm going back to this Jedi mind trick thing that y'all do. Y'all sense everybody's feelings. So if you're in a room with a bunch of drunk people, do you feel drunk?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Really?
I have a strong smell of
No, I mean, do
sense.
you act drunk when you're around a bunch of other drunk people?
There are drunk that doesn't look like drunk, but they're drunk.
I don't think it works that way.
No, and I don't think you feel drunk, but I do think that you get the silly, like, looseness of, because I personally don't drink all that much. Yeah. So when Gary drinks a lot, then I get drunk. No. But it's more the silliness of it, the looseness, everybody's kind of relaxed, so you get relaxed as well.
Like a childish behavior.
Lower inhibitions.
And I think, Robert, if you just, even the listening will create empathy, because if you hear it, you ingest it, if Lilly says I'm sad and you hear her say she's sad, it doesn't mean you have to feel her sadness. It just means that you have to really understand she's sad. And
Disagree.
you think you have to feel I don't think you have to feel the sadness.
Jen, if you tell me that you're sad and I say, yeah, I understand, I hear you're sad, that's okay? That's good?
Well, no, but it's a start. If he's trying to learn to become more empathetic, you can't just jump right in.
I think Jen, she said the valid point about it, because there are times that when I was talking to Robert, right, so I was sad. And then when he is actively listening to me without feeling empathy to me, I think that's okay for me. At least he was listening.
But it's not empathy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I think
But is it empathy?
It is not.
How is it not?
It's a good starting point.
I don't know. I think based on this conversation that we've had, that the two women definitely feel it far more than you or I. And all four of us were raised completely different in different parts of the world.
And I will say, my father used to tell me, like, if you cry, I'll give you something to cry about. If you are hungry, too bad, that was dinner. There was never like, I didn't have nurturing parents by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't think that mine came from a loving environment as a child.
So how did you know what those feelings meant?
Feelings meant like the happiness or the warmth or I think I just had it. And maybe I didn't actually know it when I was younger. It was probably not the happy. It was probably more the dad's pissed, go hide in your room. Or I'm sure it was much more of a feeling his anger, feeling rage, feeling that stuff and reacting to that. And maybe the empathy came in by me trying to be as sweet and kind as I could so that wouldn't be the next target. I think as I got older and realized that not everyone felt the same thing I do, didn't have the same kind of understanding of other people's feelings, it grew and grew and grew to the point that it's can be exhausting until I learned how to shut it off. So
clearly it's not a learned behavior.
I think so. Empathy is definitely, I think you could learn that. I think being empathetic, like the actual having it within you, might be more of a gift or a characteristic of a person, and the value itself could probably be learned in a way of listening, being non-judgmental, not expecting anything in return. Those are all just kind, caring qualities.
I'm going to ask, do you think empathy, now you realize empathy is important?
And I've always thought it was important, even before the podcast. I'm just wondering who's more empathetic. I'm still confused on that. Actually, I'm not really confused anymore. I definitely think you guys are way more empathetic than Rob and I. But yes, it is a very important value.
So me and Gary found a quote, and I'm kind of curious if this is exactly what y'all mean by empathy. By Alfred Adair. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Lilly said something earlier about walking in someone else's shoes, which kind of says like seeing with someone else's eyes, hearing. So maybe like masculine wise, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's like heart to heart talking or mind to mind talking.
I could see how walking in shoes would be more like the masculine version.
We had a question come up. How can somebody assist somebody else resolve their problems with empathy?
I think it's through speaking up for me, in a sense of that, I could literally put my feelings and emotion into words and be vulnerable with them, because it can lead to, a great understanding and empathy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say you can help to resolve the conflict because you're understanding and sharing the other person's feelings, emotions. How can there be conflict when there's continuity of the feelings and emotions and how they're feeling? You're trying to, I don't know how you could do that. I don't know how there could be conflict.
Okay, so if somebody approaches me and they're stressed out and they have conflict in their life, the one thing that I try to do is I stay very calm. Because if I stay calm, then I'm not going to escalate their feelings or demeanor. I'm the rock that they are allowed to lean on. When we were doing this research, it was like, stay neutral. And I was like, yeah, I kind of don't do. I stay neutral. In the past, me and my brother would argue and we would escalate each other just by I'm getting a little louder and then his voice would get a little louder and his voice would get a little louder. But showing empathy in this situation, I have learned that if I stay calm, it's a place for that person to push against and relax and not worry that I'm going to make it more
Intense.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I used to respond the same other people respond to me when they approach me, like they're stressed and I would be stressed too. I don't think it's gonna help the other person, to calm them down. So it's better to be calm, just like you said.
I agree.
So is that remaining neutral? Is that actually empathy though?
Yes, it is, because if you're neutral, you are taking in their feelings, but you're not showing them, taking them in. So you can feel what they're feeling, but you're not letting it out. Stay calm so they don't get whatever we were saying.
Right. So you're hearing it, you're listening to it, you're absorbing it, but you're not two walls just screaming at each other, because obviously that doesn't work. Right. So instead of butting heads, you give space.
So when you walk into a room and everybody's happy, why would you be happy? Why would you not remain neutral?
Right.
Because it's a choice.
It is a choice.
So I can stay neutral because that will stop everything from escalating on your end. But if everyone's in a great mood, by not being neutral, you get to join in with the greatness.
I agree with the choice. It's your choice, I guess.
Yes, somebody agrees.
Yeah, choice. Because there are some people that they're so happy, like, okay, I'm happy for them. Doesn't mean I'm going to join and be happy as well. I'm just sitting there and just happy for them.
Because if you walk into a room of all miserable people, you don't want to become miserable as well. So you have to make that choice to not take that on.
Yes, I'm not going to do that to be miserable.
So I'm glad y'all said it was a choice, because that actually says that this is moving into emotional intelligence, where you are showing awareness of where your emotional state is compared to other people around you. How easy is it for you to regulate your emotions around other people?
It's not very easy unless you practice. And you do have to practice. You have to be conscious about it and be grounded, because that's taking like your own emotional responsibility.
Just maybe watch the body language. You can feel it.
I agree with Jen. You have to be grounded.
Expand on being grounded.
I'm getting there. Mm-hmm. So if I could be upset with whatever you guys are doing, and if I'm not grounded and realizing what's in my control and not in my control, then I will blow up. But if I am aware of what I can control and can't control, and I cannot control other people, therefore I can remain calm because I'm grounded.
The way we feel other people's feelings or can pick up on them very easily. The first time I ever knew that this was a thing, I walked into a store and there was someone stealing. I don't know if they were changing price tags or whatever they were doing. And I walked in and I just had this overwhelming feeling that I was doing something wrong. I actually had, like, my heart was racing, a little sweaty. And I looked over and there's this kid, like, down at the cologne counter putting stuff in his pockets. In my own head, I was like, these aren't even my feelings. So I think in order to ground from that, you have to realize that sometimes you're picking up on things. And I think we pick up on people's stuff. You walk by them on the street, you pass them on a subway, you sit next to them in church. I think you're picking up on their feelings, even though you don't realize it. And you have to be able to bring it back to yourself to know, are these my feelings or are these not?
So I think that is the part that's like the gift, because I don't know how many people can do what you just said you did. I don't think that would happen to me. Like, I could pick up their energy, maybe, of their feelings, but I will not even know it. If I picked anything up like that, I'm completely unaware of anything.
Yeah, I think about Jen's, she just said that she saw a boy, right, stealing. I think if I was in that situation, it can be hard for me. I kind of feel nervous that time. Am I going to tell the clerk, oh, there's somebody stealing? I'm also concerned about the boy. Maybe he's in need. So I don't know. So what I'm going to stay is just stay away from the situation. Like, I feel sorry for the owner and I feel sorry for the boy because I've been there. So it's hard for me. Like, for example, I saw myself as a kid. I was a victim, right? And then I stay quiet. And then when somebody find out, they're mad. You have to speak up. You have to speak up because somebody is like want to do bad things to you, but you stay quiet. And then when I say, because I feel bad with the guy, you feel about the guy, but you don't feel about yourself. Why it's you are more concerned the guy that's going to do something bad to you. That since when I was a kid. So whatever bad things happen to me, I stay quiet. I didn't say it. Because I feel like I was very, am I going to make this other person miserable or feeling bad? I don't know.
Thank you both for sharing. Y'all both actually added to the point of where empathy plays an important part. We don't see it. I mean, I don't see it because I'm very logical. I don't necessarily am I going to sit there and think about what does that guy think?
Absolutely. And I think logical is the key. With being the masculine being so logical and the feminine being emotional, I think that might be the explanation or the difference.
So you've given us a good story on how you became empathetic, but how do you use it in your day-to-day lives to get you through the day?
For me personally, the work that I do, it helps me tremendously. Having intuition, I do body work, I unwind injury, I combine physical therapy and massage therapy together, and I see clients all day long. I'm touching people, which is a bigger receiver of energy, I guess, than just standing next to them. But I feel like the intuition and kind of being able to relate with how they feel. Their back hurts, their leg hurts, their knee hurts, having that compassion, caring. I think I want to start over. Because people will come in, my knee hurts. Well, you sat on the couch and ate chips. So, that is what I want to say, but I can't. But it's also very difficult because you're taking on a lot of those emotions and feelings of other people all day long. So every day before I leave, I clear that all out of my body and go on with my day or my night. It's helpful in my day-to-day job. When I go to the grocery store or go to a place where there are a lot of people, it is not helpful because, as Gary knows, the first thing I do is go to the ladies' room. So there's no one else, not a crowd of people in there. So I need to ground myself, and then I can go back out and do what I need to do.
I thought you had to pee this whole time.
Well, I do that too, just because.
I think it helps me to actually connect with people since I am kind of introvert and I'm friendly, but I feel like it helps me to, even though I don't intentionally want to be friends with you, it feels like it helps me and helps the other people to get along with me easy. It's not intentionally, oh, I want to be friends with you. It feels like people draw at me because I'm having this empathy. So there are times that I am the one actually like avoiding the crowd because I prepare by myself sometimes.
And Lily, like with that, do you think that people, because I know for me, like people will just come up to me and tell me their whole story. Like I'm waiting in the grocery line or I'm waiting in the store line and they have the need to tell me about their entire day or where they're going on vacation or what they're buying and what they're making for dinner. So I get the feeling that you're saying the same thing, that people just will kind of give you their whole life story, even though they don't know you.
Because there are some people that you were just, in the grocery and buy things. And then some people will randomly come to you and ask, hey, how's your day? So I'm going to respond. I think it's about how you respond. If you're rude, then I don't think it's helped me to connect with people.
So how do you guys think you're going to put empathy in your day-to-day routines?
That's what I was going to get at. I feel like that is part of the difference between the feminine and the masculine. I don't have empathy all day. And I think it arises when the situation needs it to. And I can go all day without making a connection, without saying a word to anybody, and I'll be fine. I think I know I'm empathetic when I need to be. So I do not use it day to day.
I'm the opposite. I use it every day. I have a vehicle that everybody stops me and says, hey, and they want to tell me about their father who has a vehicle just like mine, or somebody who likes my vehicle, or asks me what year it is. So every day I'm stopped and somebody talks to me and wants to tell me, and instead of just pushing them off and saying, yeah, whatever, I'll just entertain them and talk to them about the car or about their stuff and listen to their story.
People ask me all the time about my Honda Civic. They
I know.
what
it is very important, man. Hondas are the best car ever.
I think women understood that when a guy doesn't have emotions, we took it as you don't care. Men doesn't really care.
But I have emotions and I show them when I need to show them. And I hide them when I need to hide them. I'm still aware of the emotion and the feelings that I'm having, but if really sad about something and my daughter comes over and I don't want her to be sad about whatever it is, I will hide my sadness.
Because she will have empathy and be sad as well.
Yeah, she will. And that's what I want to avoid.
So I have 2 quotes. The first quote is by Plato. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our ego and to live in another world. The other person, I don't know who it's by. Empathy is about looking into your inner mirror and finding a version of yourself within somebody else.
That's by us.
It's by Gary.
We're a team.
Empathy or motivates altruistic behavior. Do y'all find that there is a negative side to being altruistic when you're empathetic towards people?
All right, I'm going to throw my answer in. I
Okay.
don't think it's possible to find a negative side effect of being altruistic.
Can I disagree with you? Okay.
You're not allowed. Go ahead.
When you both told your stories and you said you were empathetic towards the person that was stealing the cologne, were you being altruistic using your empathy?
No.
Mm.
I don't think empathy is altruism wasn't there.
Right, because it wasn't the welfare of others. I feel like I felt his feeling that he had. If I should have acted on it for altruism to be present.
So going back to that same situation. So the kid approaches you and says, "Hey, I need this cologne. Will you buy it for me?" That is
Yes.
your empathy and altruistic working together.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So have you come across a time in your life where you have had empathy for somebody and you were doing altruistic behaviors, but it had a negative impact in your life?
Yes, it is. You are making the other person like codependent on you because you're being altruistic. So that's where the codependent.
Enabling them.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
And they're going to do it over and over and over again. We're to a point that you just. So I don't think they really care about your feelings too, because you're just being altruistic.
How can you use empathy to be a good leader at work?
By understanding my employees. When they are upset, I can feel that they're upset, and I can address the issue to make them happy.
So you're making other people happy?
Or content. I'm understanding their frustrations.
Now you're a customer service representative.
Yes.
I can understand you're frustrated. I apologize.
Let me put you on a brief hold. But I think that if a good leader can really feel and understand what his employees or people below him are feeling, then that allows him to fix situations to make his people happy, in turn making him a good leader.
To be a good empathetic leader, that's going to be hard, especially for me. I would definitely have to create a positive environment for people to feel safe sharing their emotions. Being a better listener is definitely something I have been working on. Trying to stay authentic as best I can. I'm going to take Gary's word because as much as I can sit there and tell somebody, yes, I understand your emotions when you're sitting there crying, all I can do is listen and say, listen, I understand you're crying. I understand you're hurting and pain. As much as I would like to cry with you, I don't cry like that. I have to be honest with them because then they'll feel it and then they'll understand that I'm real and cool and an awesome leader.
I think that makes sense.
How about a benevolent leader? You're not benevolent today?
Oh, I'm benevolent today. I've had to put up with some stuff for today.
I think understanding and even just leading by example, or leading that I've been where you are. I've done what you've done. I understand how you could be feeling. Just really to have that conversation, to let them be seen and heard, and I understand, and we'll try to work on it or make changes or do something different.
Yes. I think to me it's about listening and understanding, but also engaging, participating. But also I'm going to let my employee to speak, and I'm going to let them, participate or share your opinions about, let's for example, the company that help us to get ahead in life and better future.
Well, thanks for sharing, Lily. And in summary, empathy is an important value for several compelling reasons. It is vital in relationships as it fosters understanding, strengthens emotional bonds, and improves communication. By practicing empathy, individuals can create a supportive and loving environment that enhances the quality and longevity of their relationship.
And I want to say thank you both, Jenn and Lilly, for joining us. And if the listeners out there would like to go further or deeper on this topic of empathy, reach out to us. We would like to know and hear your powerful story. Chat or connect with us by booking your free session on our website, northmancoaching.com. And folks, that's a wrap on today's episode. And of course, thank you all out there for listening. We are glad you could join us today. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, Living by Oak Values. And if you feel generous, leave us a review. It really helps us out and keeps these conversations going. For more updates and exclusive content, join our Facebook group, Northman Legacy Crew, and follow us on YouTube and TikTok, or visit our website, northmancoaching.com. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode that you don't want to miss. Until then, keep discussing your values, embracing the journey. Take care and stay authentic.
This is over, right? I can go to bed now, right?
You technically can.
Yeah.
I don't feel that you're sleepy enough, though.